Okay, so you're just turning up my mic. So the Lolcow podcast was watching clips of us. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about this. I'm excited to hear
I
about
can see
this.
this one.
I don't really care about watching them like pretend to laugh about clips, but then Keemstar fired the editor of Lolcow Podcast.
But was it because of? It wasn't because of this though. He fired him because he was fighting about something else.
I don't know, but I really want to get to the bottom of how much money they're making.
Yeah.
After Boogie threatened to kill himself.
I would like to know how much money they're making.
I would like to profit off of people threatening to kill themselves.
I know.
That's a racket?
Right? Yeah.
Well,
I
I've
guess
talked.
it is.
I've talked to Boogie. He told me how much he was taking home.
How much was he taking home?
I think that's privileged information.
Okay,
I
let's
can't
see
share
if Connor can.
Obviously not enough to be in the clear of whacking yourself.
Well, he's definitely not making "don't whack yourself" money.
Does he
I can
even
say
feel
that.
bad about threatening to kill himself? Because he's disappointing a lot of people.
He says
like that.
he feels bad about.
What about following through on the commitments you make to your audience?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Please don't kill yourself, Boogie.
It's like a Kickstarter that doesn't go, you know?
But his life is, I mean, he's got nowhere
Hold
to go
on,
but
you're not going
down.
to play this clip of them talking about us? Like,
No, I
set
don't
up.
care.
People don't know what Lolcow is.
It's a dog shit show. I mean, it's like
Explain what it
Why'd
is.
you look at me when you said dog shit show?
Keemstar's tripping all over his own dick, pretending that all it takes to make a good show.
Just in case
is,
people have not heard us talk about this on the show, the Lolcow Podcast is Boogie 2988, along with Wings of Redemption, and hosted by Tommy C. and also Keemstar for some reason, who seems to be on every episode. I was almost going to be on there if I had seen my texts in time. I really fucked that up.
What do you mean?
They did an episode and Wings didn't show up, and they tried to get me as a replacement. And
Oh, they did?
by the time I realized, they had already moved on.
You were going to replace someone called Wings?
Wings of Redemption. He's
Okay, well, I sent him
basically
the...
looks just like me.
I sent him the link. Connor, are you
Connor's
there?
here. Hi, Connor. Great, we made him run away.
I'm here.
Bit of bad luck
Okay.
today.
You just got... Keemstar just fired you from the Lolcow Podcast, right?
Yeah, that's correct. First thing though, I just wanted to apologize if I'm a little bit low energy, y'all. You know, I've been working.
Don't
on the
worry,
Lolcow
I'm gonna.
podcast. I've been working on the Lolcow podcast, listening to it every day for the past 5 months. So I'm recovering.
God, you must want to kill yourself. You have to listen to every episode of that shitty show.
Yeah, and make shorts and edit all the swear words out. So
And
Edit the swear words out? Why?
Yeah, why do they do that?
Yep. I don't know. Keemstar said no swear words. He's got to be green. Podcast got to go green every time. So cut out every swear word.
But it doesn't matter.
Everything.
It's only the swear words only matter in the first 5 minutes.
Hey, I mean, tell to Keem. That's what I thought. But
you were the
tell to
editor.
Keem.
Did you have like first cut, last cut of that show?
What do you mean by first cut, last cut?
Like
Are
whatever
you making
edited,
editing decisions?
Yeah, it went out. Like whatever you made, it went out.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was told like to do certain things, like to edit it certain ways. But yeah, like I would choose like the content that went out with what I was given. Of course, I mean.
So are you the reason that everyone on that show sounds like a pedophile?
I think that was a thing.
Unlike
way
this
I was
show.
around.
I think that was
Because
the
it
problem
has to be
going
the
into it.
edit, right? I mean, I know those guys.
I thought that was
They
the
like,
theme of the show.
They like
Yeah.
18-year-old
That's not
girls,
intentional.
right?
Yeah, it's to bully them about being pedophiles. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why did you get? Now,
Why'd you get fired?
You've been editing the show for how long?
5 months.
5 months. That's a good run. And they were
so
paying
much work.
They were.
man.
It is a lot of work, honestly.
Yeah.
How many shows would you be editing a week?
I'd be doing like 2 podcasts a week, plus like uploading shorts on every day that we're not doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Full-time job. It
yeah.
sounds like.
Pretty much, yeah. Full
You're
time.
working on it
full-time.
every day, Monday through Friday.
Basically, yeah, pretty much every day, you know, making sure the podcast is green. I didn't do the titling, you know, the terrible titles. That's all Keemstar, but pretty much everything else was up to me.
How much did you get paid for that?
I was getting paid $2K a month to do that. $2K a month.
Sounds like. Well, honestly, for the amount of work, I was going to say it doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the math, if I'm working like 30 hours a week on it, I'm making
not great.
$15 an hour. So, you know, it's about.
Yeah.
But of course, I assume it comes with the promise that, well, this will scale once the show's making more money. Was there talk of more money?
Not like a percentage wise, no. It was a flat rate. I make $2K no matter what.
How much does Boogie
No.
make on that show?
Well, here's the thing, you know, I'll tell you exactly how much it makes because it's not even really a leak. They've actually publicly talked about it.
Yeah.
You know, Keem said that once the show started making $10K a month, he would start taking a cut, right? So
Yeah.
he just started taking a cut. So they've just barely crossed that threshold.
But if they're making 10K a month,
that means we're making more than them.
Well, we
we have
individually
Patreon.
are.
Yeah.
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 You mean like total?
Total, yeah.
Well, we make about $10K a month after everything. We're probably tied. What do you mean more?
We're making more than $10K.
How much are we making on Patreon?
Like 9,000.
Yeah, and then we get an extra 3 or so from YouTube. So we're at about 12.
I'm no scientist, but it feels like more than 10.
I'm saying it's pretty close, though.
It's close.
It's at least 12.
We're more. We're better. We're better and making more money. What are you talking about? Why are you shy about? Yeah.
It's this attitude that ran that Domino's into the fucking ground.
What are you talking about? It's close. We win.
Right.
What do you mean?
Okay, we're winning. I got it.
Yeah.
Why would you resist that?
I'm not resisting anything. I'm just...
Connor, are we winning or not?
It sounds like it. The
biggest
math adds
problem is
up.
the winner. Because their show is, no offense to you, but that show fucking sucks, right? It's all fake.
Well,
it's so fake.
I mean, it's very obviously fake. I think the whole thing he pulled with me was definitely fake. It was made up in his head, at least, in Keemstar's amazing content brain.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way. So what were you fired for? Because it seems like you were doing you were doing what Keemstar wanted. You were editing the show, making the clips.
Making everyone look like pedophiles, as I said, yeah.
Well,
yeah, I won't get into all the nitty-gritty details, but basically, Keemstar, his one job is to run the live show, right? He doesn't do the pre-recorded episodes. He just puts the titles up, runs the live show, that's it, right?
Sorry, are you saying, do you have an accent or something? Because you're saying ruining the live show, but it sounds like you're saying runs. What do you...
Run.
Keemstar
run
ruins the live show, right?
Well, both, of course, but no, run the live show is what I mean to say. So for the second week in a row, he couldn't figure out anything to talk about, right? Like he just couldn't figure out what to talk about.
One of those classic podcast problems where
if
you don't have a format or anything, you just go, well, we'll just shoot the shit. We'll just talk about anything. That's how all these shows fail.
So he couldn't figure out to
talk about what he knows, trying to look cool to 25-year-olds.
It's very weird.
So he pushed the job onto me, right? He called me. He said, hey, can you make a docket for me? Look, I don't get paid to make a docket, but he was like, it's easy. We're just going to read Reddit posts.
Oh, he gave you more work.
More work.
Oh, so produce the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did it for free. First mistake, obviously. I decided to
Friends and family discount, motherfucker. That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, that was my first mistake.
That should be a problem. You gotta have a problem since you're calling in. What is like scope creep or something like that? Job creep.
Working for an insane person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keemstar's thin skin. That's my problem.
Keemstar's thin skin is a good one.
But yeah, I said sure. I threw in y'all's show in there as well. I threw in like 10 Reddit posts. I was like, this is plenty. They have like an hour of content here to talk shit. So I said I structured the docket with the idea that they would all come in together. Boogie would be there. They would watch your clip of you saying that Boogie, is he's suicide baiting on Twitter. It would be funny. It'd be interactive. Well, this retard goes live and watches your whole clip by himself. He doesn't bring the cows in.
Oh my God! Wait, why is Keem doing this with the show? Does Keem think that people are tuning into the Lolcow podcast
for him
to watch him?
Yeah, I guess he thinks it's the Keemstar show.
Then just do the fucking Keemstar show.
He is Lolcow podcast.
So he watched the clip without Boogie or Wings.
Yeah, I think Wings was sick, but Boogie was waiting in the call. He was ready to come in, and
then did Keem explain the clip to him? Was that the thrilling content?
Yeah, it was him bringing Boogie in afterwards and being like, so what did you think about that? But that's not the only thrilling content. He also spent the next 20 minutes complaining about how bad the docket was. After he refused to read,
So Keem is mentally handicapped, I think, in some way. Where does he not understand that no one is tuning into the Lolcow podcast to watch Keemstar do stuff for 20 minutes and then bring everybody else on? Why?
Yeah,
why is it his show? He's not a Lolcow, right? I mean, he kind of is, but that's not the theme of the show.
But yeah, it's supposed to be Boogie. I mean, he even put Boogie in the thumbnail. He titled it that we're going to do a Reddit review with Boogie.
Yeah.
So start the fucking show with Boogie. What is he doing?
Yeah, I know. It's this most simple. It's most simple idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Boogie.
Yeah, as a fact, I used to freak out all the time.
And if I told you there was a podcast about a big, fat, crazy guy who keeps threatening to kill himself, that's not called Biggest Problem in the Universe.
And it's not mine.
And it's not yours either. There's a third one.
Big Uglies, yeah.
And you tune in and
How
you
often does he
immediately
suicide
see...
bait behind the scenes? How often does Boogie say he's going to kill himself? himself like in DMs and stuff?
Every time he's done it behind the scenes, he goes on Twitter and does it just as much. Let's be real.
Yeah. Everybody gets an equal amount.
Yes, I would watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, you tune in, and then you immediately see a 50-year-old man pretending to be a cool 20-something, pretending he's above it all and he's somehow better than Boogie. Yeah. And you'd go, oh, well, this show sucks. Yeah, just give me the fat guy being the fat guy.
Yeah, and that's not to mention he didn't even
That's your
read,
dream.
like,
That's what the show people want. Just give me the fat guy being the fat guy. This is what the people want.
When you told me there was going to be a Lolcow podcast, it was going to be Boogie and Wings,
so easy,
being fat and retarded and saying insane things. I was like, all right. And then every time I go to tune into it, it's Keemstar going, "Oh, did you guys hear about this internet drama bullshit thing that I'm caught up in?"
He's doing his show to only those two guys.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
And I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah,
Just
those are my favorite
guys.
My favorite podcast about podcasts.
Yeah.
Well,
and then funny enough, the one person who said out to do that is the only one who does it well.
Yeah.
Which is Carl. He's like, well,
Carl's
what if I just say that my podcast is about podcasts?
Yeah.
And then it's
great.
like, that's the format. And it's fine. But then everyone else just does that, and it's plagiarist and awful.
Yeah.
So Keemstar, first of all, burned your great content that you had prepared for the show, ruined a good bit. Then he asked you to do more work than you were supposed to do, and you did it, and then he shit on that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you set him straight and basically said, well, I gave you a lot of good content, but you fucked it up, and it's
you
your
got fired
fault.
for that?
Yeah. Well, so what happened was I wasn't around while they were live. I missed his call. He tried to call me on the stream to complain to me about how bad it was.
Yeah.
But I got home later. I saw that he was complaining about how bad it was. So I went on a.
Does he
friend's
think he's
stream.
Howard Stern? He's gonna call you up and have like a drama, like a
Howard Stern never actually fired anybody, though. That's why it worked. It was funny when Howard Stern shit on the other people because you're like, well, he's not going to fire him. You know, he's just going to
paying
goof
them like a living wage.
And he was funny when he goofed on them. Keem is not funny when he goofs on people because he's not actually goofing around. He's actually going, I'm a once-in-a-lifetime genius.
He
and
actually
everybody
fired Salvo.
Yeah.
It's not funny when you're actually firing people.
Right, yeah.
So who's going to edit the fucking show for him now?
Well, he's got a new guy with his new little UFO company, I guess. It's his UFO company's editor. That's the guy who's editing now.
The dark money behind the world of podcasting is so interesting to me because it is always like, this guy has like a solar power generator company and is like, oh, so all these guys that parade around like they're internet millionaires, they all have some weird backer. You know what I mean? Where it's like this, it's sort of like
Israel sometimes.
Yeah, it's sort of, but it's like the internet equivalent of a girl who's taking all these Instagram pictures in Dubai and you're like, where's the greasy Greek-looking Vito?
Where's the one with the shit all over your
neck? Who's paying for everything?
Yeah.
Like, and all these internet guys like Keem and all these other dudes, like there's always a guy who's like, he has anti-energy weapon satellite system and he lives off the grid in Mexico and he's the primary investor in this podcast. All these shows who will shit on shows for the size of their following have some weird dark money behind them.
There's a lot of dark money in podcasts.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of dark money, if you do the math, actually, you can see. So he said he'd take a cut after 10K, right?
Yeah.
So you take my 2K out, that's 8,000 between the cows. Well, when Keemstar wants to take his fourth, that means he's taking exactly $666 from each of the cows. So
I heard that Boogie was only making. Someone told me Boogie's only making like 2K a month. Is that true, or is he getting like 3K then?
Yeah, no, it's 2K because Keemstar's taking his 666.
2K. Tommy C gets an equal share.
Yep, all of them get 2K.
Okay. So you were making as much as the hosts?
Yep.
Yeah, but honestly, he's doing the most work though.
Yeah.
But I mean that's not sustainable. Nothing about that show
they
is
don't.
sustainable.
I hate to say it, but like Keem is micromanaging that thing way too hard
for $2,000.
Because Connor, like, I love you, but he does not need a guy to go in and edit all the swears out of every episode. It's a waste of your time and his.
I agree. I mean, I would like to not do that. It's less work for me, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he should pay you to
I hate to tell you, but you don't have to do any of it anymore.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine now.
I don't know if anyone's told you, but
who wants to watch a
been let
podcast
go.
with all the swears edited out of it? That sounds terrible.
It would be so distracting.
Yeah, it's super
like look
distracting.
at these, and that is like Mr. Falcon.
That's actually how it goes. Yeah.
How much of a microman? Now I've experienced Keem's micromanagement on some level. I'm wondering how much you felt micromanaged. Like, was he watching every edit and coming in and saying, "You got to change this, you got to change this," or was he more? Was he more hands off actually?
Well, I'll tell you this. It started off like that for sure. He was micromanaging me immediately at the beginning. But then he got really upset at the show. He didn't like it. So he took it back off and he pushed the work of micromanaging me onto Tommy C. So Tommy C's been the one who's been managing me. And so, yeah, Keemstar, he got bored, I guess.
What I've heard.
Delegated micromanagement is really the cuntiest move of all time.
Make sure I like this.
Make sure I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard some talk of that. And I talked with Boogie, and I said, well, Keem's insane because here's the thing about doing a podcast. You kind of got to accept the first 10 episodes or so. You're finding your footing. You're figuring out what works. Right. You're finding a rhythm.
Said first 100, right?
Well, honestly, it takes a while. Some podcasts go for a while. Just it's terrible, and then you figure out.
Don't
and it
I
clicks.
know it?
Yeah.
If from day one you have a psychopath like Keemstar going, you got to get more laughs in there. We need more topical news. Blah blah blah. It's like just do it naturally. Accept that it might be bad. It's not going to be good from day one, and find your footing. Do a bunch of test shows.
Yeah, but their
if
footing
you have
is just
to.
talking about fucking kids.
Yeah, which is funny.
No one
and
wants
should
to listen to that.
Yeah, I wanna...
Two fat guys, Wings and Boogie, just talking about kids they want to
bring
fuck.
on
No one
Ralph
wants to hear
more.
that,
Let Ralph.
Right? Let me bring up Chuck Dixon again.
Nail
Is that really a show?
It's not.
That's what they
necessarily
would
the show.
probably maybe want to do.
Well, they don't want to read a docket, right? So what else are they going to do? They're just going to.
What else are they
That's
gonna
my
do?
choice. Kid fucking or docket? I mean, I don't like a script any more than the next guy.
So,
Did you ever talk to Boogie's girlfriend?
Oh, no, unfortunately.
No.
That would have been
a crime for you as well.
She escaped, right?
Yeah, I think she's on the loose still.
Oh, thank God.
So Keem basically fired you because he's doing a bad job and he wanted to blame it on you for some reason.
Well, there's a little bit more like
Sounds
so
like a
after the
loaded
whole
question.
thing happened. After the whole thing happened, right? I got home after the stream was done. I heard all the shit he talked. So I went on one of my friend's streams and I was like, have you seen what happened? You know, I started talking shit back because he talked shit to me. You know, it is how it goes, right?
You made
The direct route.
You made content for the show, and you were promoting the show outside of the show by getting people excited for the drama that was being generated.
Right.
Exactly.
How dare you?
And you got fired for that.
You got fired.
So he called in.
Yeah.
He called in to the live
You
stream.
really
and he
got
was
fired?
yelling.
That's so fucked. I mean, that's like a lot of money for... That's rent. It's a mortgage.
It's a good amount of money, and honestly, you were helping the show because I'm way more interested in this than Keemstar talking to a camera about stupid internet drama.
I hope Boogie sits on a fire hose by accident, and then it turns on, and he fills up and explodes, and his head pops
like
off.
Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
They take him to the juicing room?
Yeah, I hope he gets juiced.
Except when he gets juiced, his
I have a bunch
head
of horses
pops up.
kick him in the stomach.
So Keem came on while you were
And he
talking
shits
about
a
what
bunch of
happened
jelly.
and generating outside confidence for the show on your own hours, and he was mad about that.
I hope he falls
Yeah.
down an escalator, and it's just perfectly timed so he never falls down the whole escalator, and it just keeps going up.
I
Pretty
said,
sure,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was a cartoon I saw as a kid.
A GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
that
but
guy who's got to
Which is
push the
also a
boulder
kind of
uphill
peanut
his
butter,
whole
which I'm
life?
sure
Is that
he likes
Sisyphus?
Penis? Yeah, Sisyphus.
Yeah, I want the Sisyphus escalator for Boogie.
I want
in hell.
Sisyphus to get to the top of that hill with the boulder and then throw the boulder on Boogie's head. I hope he gets hit by a car.
Connor, do you think the Lolcow podcast will succeed, or do you think it is poisoned by bad decision making?
Well, it's obviously poison by bad decision making, but you never know with podcasts. Sometimes that can make them succeed, but you have to be entertaining at the same time, right? So
And they're
I
not.
don't-
Those
that's where they're
guys
lacking,
aren't, right? Yeah, they're not.
that's where they're
They're
kind
not
of
good at all.
I don't understand what Keemstar adds to the show. Like, I don't, other than putting it together and maybe his built-in audience wants to see whatever the spectacle is.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah,
my
well, he
head,
doesn't even put it together, really.
Well, that's what I'm
at
saying.
the beginning. At the beginning, you mean, right? Like setting it
sure,
up.
it
and
gets
yeah,
it
like-
set up and maybe build
Yeah.
some buzz for it. But then in my head, this is like one of those situations where it's like, well, Boogie and Wings are the show. So
Yeah.
if at any point they go, we're just going to make our own show and call it something different.
Just call it the same thing. What's going to happen?
Well, I'm just saying, what is Keemstar offering to these people that they can't get on their own?
I don't know.
Besides just a name. I mean, I'll tell you this too. You'd be surprised the amount of people who don't want to work with Keemstar, right? Like you'd be surprised. So if anything, it might be a hindrance. I mean, Noel, for
Yeah.
example, Noel refused to come on the show. He's like, I'm not working with Keemstar. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
That'd be a good get, too. Noel's not my
Yeah.
friend anymore because of you. Thanks a lot.
Because of
Vito.
me.
Yeah, 'cause
no,
of
that
you.
was that rift happened long before I showed up.
What did he do?
He's...
just me
making
being
jokes about-
me.
Being himself.
Who would you be less surprised about if it turned out they were a pedophile? Boogie or Wings?
Okay.
Or Keemstar.
Well, Keemstar. honestly.
Obviously, Keemstar. That would be the biggest surprise.
Would it?
Yes.
All right.
Boogie or Wings? If you found out, oh shit, that guy had 10 terabytes of child porn, I'm surprised. What would be
Pretty
the
specific number.
What would be
The bigger
surprise?
the bigger surprise. or
Multiple
less?
drives.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Wings would be the bigger surprise, right? I'd be like,
Interesting.
damn.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh, because Boogie has the young girlfriend.
Right, Wings at least dates in his age range. He's
Imagine
got-
being like, it's not this drive, it's the other drive. Someone get
All
the
right,
other
But
drive.
I know more about Boogie's sex life than Wings because Boogie has talked
Nope.
about all his
Shouldn't say that. You should know about either.
No, he had a
he talks about
documentary.
prostitutes.
He had a documentary
okay.
about
Wings
all the
talked about that he's too
prostitutes.
fat to fuck his wife.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well, that can happen to anybody, but I use
guess
that. I
Boogie
use
is-
that excuse too
So
when I
Wings,
don't
Wings
want
is
to.
married.
I have a headache.
I don't
Thank
even
God
watch
I'm
any
too
of this.
fat.
I'm too fat to fuck you. I would. I love you, but I gotta lose another 50 pounds before I have to,
I will
give it to
say,
you.
you can tell that Keemstar has not watched any of these like classic radio programs because you're right. It is like a Howard Stern situation where
Yeah.
goofing on the staff is funny.
Yeah.
Keem
Which
calling
what
you
this
out.
show
Fire
is.
them.
If Keem brings you
Oh,
in,
yeah,
he goes,
he
yeah.
throws a big fucking tantrum though. We were busting his balls in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And Venom's like,
That's the show.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to bust my balls, but you got to let me get a sentence out before you do it. I
No,
can't.
that's
or
part
else
of it.
you'll throw
Let
a
me-
fit.
No, I'm not throwing
Yeah.
a fit. I can't finish a thought. I get like sidetracked. I'm like, okay, wait,
Part of
what
the
was
fun.
I fucking talking about?
Communism will make sense if you can get your
I-
thoughts out. That
You do
You
it.
know, I mean, Keemstar literally says, he's like, you can't talk to your boss that way. Don't talk to your boss that way. That's why I fired him. He's disrespectful. I'm like, welcome to radio. What? He called me a disrespectful asshole in a Twitter video yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
like, coming from Keem, really? Are you gonna?
It's got to be one of those. See, like
That's
the
a real sign of an egotistical dickhead when somebody refers to themselves as the boss,
The boss.
or your boss.
yeah.
Keem doesn't
You're
understand that the
Springsteen.
funniest thing you can do on the radio is convince a guy to quit. If he had been able to get Connor, you're
why
useless.
this show's so
I don't
good.
Yeah, well, and then he convinces you to quit, and then you think about it, and you go, oh, that was good money, and then you're gonna come
Yeah.
groveling back to
Yeah.
Keemstar. That's good content. But if he just fires you, there's no comedy in it.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a loss. Now I have something interesting for you guys. I sent it to you on Twitter DMs, Dick.
Okay.
It's the Lolcow Podcast's response to me coming on the show.
To this show?
Oh,
Yeah, to this show tonight. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
I don't know if you can pull it up.
Keemstar with
Wait,
all
who said
Haas,
this?
all capital Haas.
How did you get this? Is it secret how you got
Look at
this?
this.
No, it's not secret. I just, I came back to my PC and I saw I haven't been logged
There's
in.
a
to the
public
Lolcow
Twitter. So you guys were in a public DM group, and they didn't realize you're still in there, or what?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, got this for
Okay,
y'all.
so I said Connor calling in tonight, and then Keem says, ha, ha, ha. So Keem posted a screenshot of my saying Connor's calling in and said, ha, 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 ha,
good impression.
ha. So he's clearly laughing.
He's laughing that Connor was going to come on our show. He finds this
Yep.
comical.
This is the guy Tommy was defending, ex-employee that's going on other shows to talk shit about us.
Yep, here's the Middle Eastern
Why is he
part.
talking about you? Hold on. Why is he talking about you? Why does he say? Why is he saying this is the guy Tommy was defending? Like, is he? Is he?
Ooh, are we about to
hold
watch
on.
Dune?
No, me. I
But
know
I'm
Tommy
saying, why
thinks-
does he talk about you as if he doesn't know you? Because he knows you. Why is he saying this is the
The
guy?
guy? It's your ex-employee.
Tommy was
Connor.
defending an ex-employee. Why is he going to
Tommy's
talk
someone
about
else-
you in this weird third-person way? It's
You know that
weird.
you know that lady my mom liked. You mean your ex-girlfriend?
So Tommy did defend you. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that he doesn't think that I was fired justly. He thinks that it's a total can of horseshit.
Well, yeah, it's
so
obviously
I believe that's what he's
horseshit.
referencing.
The
Yeah.
idea that Keem wants to, Keem, it's not funny if no one can give you shit on the show because then you're untouchable. You can't have a podcast where you're immune to being goofed on because you might fire people.
Oh, Boogie, you fat son of a bitch!
Oh shit! Oh no!
Okay, so Keem says, hubba bubba bubba bubba.
My favorite.
So fucking glad he's fired. anybody defending him or wanting him back is a fucking retard. Yes, talking to you, Tommy C. You're retarded. Tommy C's the only talented broadcaster on that show.
And he's also apparently the only one defending Connor
he's
here.
the only he's the only true broadcaster on that show. The rest
he's
of
the
these
only
guys,
regular guy.
So Connor's got a silky smooth voice. Shouldn't be editing. You should be talking.
Well, Connor, you do your own show, right? Aren't you on No Recording or Not Now Recording?
No, I'm not a host in there. I went on there the other day.
Be a phone
And
sex
then-
operator with that voice.
And then Boogie said, describe a cheese pizza to these guys. See if you can get them to
Hold
come.
on, give us 15 minutes to get them out.
Yeah, Boogie says. I guess he absorbed his 20-year-old girlfriend's speech patterns. Honestly, going on Dick's show, he says this show's my show, by the way.
It didn't say.
I like how you had to stick him with that.
He didn't specify which show he was going
I said
on.
Tonight. Everybody knows Biggest Problem on Friday.
It's not Dick's show. It's our show.
Yeah, honestly, going on Dick's show burns the bridge. In my fat opinion?
Humble.
In my huge opinion.
In my
Huge
huge
opinion.
In my
opinion.
huge opinion. Is this like did the executor of Boogie's estate get a hold of his account after
How
he
did that
killed
happen?
himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said he was going to kill himself.
The woman who was inside of him when he died cut her way out and started tweeting from his phone.
I'm gonna fix that Boogie Dick bridge one of these days. You guys are gonna be
Why?
friends. I don't know.
Who'd want to be friends with that fat sack of shit?
See, you're making it harder. It's gonna be more of a challenge. It's fun.
This is the ideal relationship. He wants to be abused. He wants this.
All right. It just goes to show I was right by firing him, says Keemstar. He was right. Boogie agrees. He says, I take giving that guy any attention personally. That's him talking about you, Dick. Giving you attention.
Wait, I thought it was you's guys' show.
Well, no.
He could be talking about you.
Here's the thing is...
it's not we now?
Well, no, there's two people on the show. Boogie and me are very friendly, and I talk to Boogie. I don't want him to kill himself.
In Switzerland. over
Dick,
there.
Why? It would be the best thing for
differently.
him. He's living in pain. He has debts up to his eyeballs. He's not funny or talented. Nobody wants... People only want to laugh at him. That's not a way to live.
Well...
There's only one...
You know,
either he has to
maybe
go to
he'll
God
fight
or
his way back.
one way or the other.
And Keem even adds in, I wish I had fired him long before. Why would you have fired you long before? It sounds like you were doing a bang-up job. And why are you in charge of coming up with content for the show? You're the editor. Nobody goes to the editor of the podcast and goes, hey, I need topics for the podcast people to talk about. Okay.
Why am I that guy?
Well, I
That
edit
is-
the
that is
videos.
something that
What are
an-
you talking about?
That is something that an egomaniac would say. It was like, I only wish I were right sooner. That's the only way I could be better than I am right now, is if I were as right as I am earlier.
Okay,
only I had acted with
Hold on. It's genuinely insane that Boogie, Keemstar, Tommy C, and Wings are all four guys who are supposed to be tapped into what's going on the internet. They're always on Twitter. They're always talking about drama. And they're going to the editor of their podcast, the guy they pay to edit out their stupid swearing and going,
And make them sound like
we need a
pedophiles."
list of topics to talk about on the show. That's clearly your job. I don't come into Biggest Problem and go, by the way, I don't know what to do. I mean, Dick does. He goes, hey, give me some problems for the show. But typically I go, I'll have a little list of things that went on that week.
Like property tax.
Yeah. We have a lot of practical problems.
The show is us talking about things we want to talk about, not having a guy give us a list of things we want to talk about.
What do you mean I take giving that guy any attention
He's talking about you.
Boogie takes giving me attention personally?
He does not like you.
Why doesn't he pay more attention to his big fat ass so he doesn't have blood
This is
cancer?
why he doesn't
so he didn't
like
have to
you.
inject
Wait, he
testosterone.
has blood cancer?
Yes, because he had to inject himself with testosterone to counteract his fatness, and that gave
Does that
him
work?
blood. You have to be no, because he got blood cancer from the injection.
Well, though, but how hard is that dick, though, dog? Because could be a fair
Doesn't matter.
trade.
He doesn't have any girlfriend anymore. He
Boogie-
traded her for
Boogie's-
magic cards.
She ran away from the blood
He
cancer?
traded him for magic cards that he could plant in his backyard.
Look, Boogie has a variety of health problems. And
The first one is being a big retard.
and he's clearly upset that you joke about it on this show.
I'm not joking.
Okay. So
He
you
would be
talk about
better
it on
off
this show.
dead.
That's obviously your
He
opinion.
tried to
hold.
murder Frank Hassel.
He did
And
it.
he shot an elementary school or a
Well,
middle school. One of them.
Who are you more upset with now? Well, I guess Keem's not giving you any shit. Boogie is, though. Boogie is saying, Connor, you have officially burnt the bridge by appearing here on Biggest Problem. You've taken sides in this war, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, Keemstar is talking shit too. I sent y'all another chat that I was just sent.
This should not be a big deal. I don't know why this is a big deal for them. They have. If there's a big falling out, if they're a top podcast, why would we not want to talk to the guy who got fired? This seems
Here's
like
another hubba-bub.
Isn't this
Effendi, I give you a good job. You disrespect me by going to the biggest problem.
Wait, this is a different tweet.
By the way, this is how all the arguments in my house sound.
Who is he sending this to?
Joshua, we had an agreement.
So this was not.
This is a breach of contract.
Okay.
Exactly as I thought. You screw me over.
I know how to podcast better than any of these motherfuckers. What the fuck are they disrespecting me for?
I agree.
It's like the rabble thing.
I don't know.
I didn't get a hop up out of this
You
guy.
say fuck to me, I say fuck to you.
I give you a good deal on podcast, a good deal on editor. You disrespect me in this way.
This is a fascinating situation.
The only problem with my prediction is that I couldn't predict earlier.
The great Allah, He protect all the time. Early of time, how only I listen to Him, He speaks directly to me.
I did not realize this was going to be so contentious. That
your wife is too old. Too old. Throw her away.
Yes, yes.
20, 21.
You must be like the prophets. She should be 9 and full of
We don't even say
spirit.
the age.
What kind of nationality is Keem as a name? Yeah.
Would you name
Keem's got a lot of ideas. He's got a lot of ideas.
He says, hub. There goes all Connor's credibility. Fuck it. He's so angry he can't even punctuate, right?
He's an idiot. Because
By the way, I'm sure Connor's been sweating that all day. Oh no, my credibility.
My credibility. I was editing a bunch of pedophiles.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, here's what I don't understand.
Oh no,
Just
I'm ruined
kidding.
in the pedophile podcast editing. I'm gonna have to go get a real job, like editing a not pedophile podcast.
Cleaning up cum from a jack off.
How is Keem, a man who has made all his money as the host of a show called Drama Alert, which monetizes drama?
No, that's
which
not
is
the real name of his
conflict.
show.
Yes, Drama Alert is his thing.
So gay.
That's how he's made. So Connor, you are now doing exactly what he should want for his stupid podcast, which is generating drama for them to obsess over. And
Exactly.
rather than engaging in it and understanding that this is what makes podcasts exciting.
Yeah. Are we gonna act like Keemstar's never gone on a show and talk shit? Are we really gonna say that? This guy's never done that.
Well, that's the thing is Keem is putting himself.
There goes all Connor's credibility. I only wish I would have gone his credibility earlier.
I gotta say, like, if I had listened, if you ever listened to the Howard Stern show and he went, "I'm firing Robin because she disrespected me," you'd never listen to the show again. Like the idea that there's a guy with a fucking complete power over the show. And yeah, she's just gone.
I guess Robin's
and he shit talks me too. So it's not like he didn't hire me and say, "Listen, I'm not going to talk to you. Keep your mouth shut. Just work for me." No, he hired me.
Yeah, sue me over the NDA I didn't sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mention this.
This is
When I first got hired, he actually told
this
me
just
over
proves
the
I'm
phone.
100% right in firing him, which I wish I would have done sooner. I wish I would have done it sooner.
He told you
My
what?
biggest problem is that I don't react to my instincts fast enough.
Exactly.
I'm a
he's-
genius.
Boogie, you understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Boogie, you're a big success. You agree that I was right?
So
Yeah, he told
Let
me
me get
over
the
the
quarter
phone.
ring in here.
Hold on. Well, he called you on the
sorry.
phone. What
When I
happened?
first got hired, he told me over the phone that he wanted me to start shit. He wanted me to be involved in the podcast, but mainly that he wanted
that's
me
a
to do it.
lie.
so
Sounds
he
like
can
you
convince
deserve a
me.
raise.
Yeah, you're starting
He
shit
meant be
now.
mean to Boogie, right? He doesn't want anyone being mean to him because he doesn't want to diminish his
Exactly.
image in any way.
Exactly.
Keem
Nothing
doesn't
more
understand-
American than doing the job better than you were doing it after you were fired.
How tall is Keem? If you had like on a liquor store, like, you know,
I don't think they've seen him in person. This is all over the internet, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you talking about in real life or in the shadow of Muhammad?
How many Muhammads is Keem?
Yeah.
1 point.
I think if you're doing a comedy
0.9.
podcast,
Yeah.
people getting fired isn't funny. And also trying to protect your image and be like, oh, the editor can't say mean things to me is also not funny.
I also do love that he runs his podcast like a fucking Middle Eastern convenience store owner. You're late 5 minutes. Get out of here. I wish I could fire you yesterday. That's like...
That's it. You're fired. I wish I fired you. I go back in time through the power of Allah. I fire your mother. Fire your father. I wait till your mother pregnant, then I fire your father. So it hurt more. All right, man. Just kick me out of the group at least. No, I leave you in group. Then you read how everyone disrespect you.
So what is funny about the Lolcow Podcast? Because this isn't funny at all.
This?
is
That's
like,
pretty funny.
No,
is
what
pretty-
you
I'm
leaving
starting to
is
see
funny.
it. I'm really starting to see it.
But I'm saying, like, it's just a bunch of idiots, it sounds like. Like, Keem's a moron. This is terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can make it into content. I can make it funny. By showing you guys, he would never show this.
When you were editing the
I
podcast,
know, it's crazy,
never.
man. People just avoid us, but we're like...
He should
just
play
all
this on the
comedy.
show.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when you were editing the podcast, it was like, is there anything funny that happens on the Lolcow podcast? Because this all seems insufferable. Keem's insufferable to me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the pre-recorded episodes when Tommy's running it, sometimes it'll be a little bit funny.
Tommy's funny. Tommy
But-
has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, but the
Keem's
live
not
shows,
a funny guy. I never laugh at Keem. I mean, I
His
laugh
girlfriend's
at
too
Keem.
young. His girlfriend's too young. You can't have a sense of humor about yourself when you got a bitch that young.
He's not a comedian.
That's the most dude you've ever... Can't be that funny if you got a bitch that young, dog.
You can't. She'll eat you.
Yeah.
She'll eat you.
Yeah, you can't.
You know.
Yeah, I'm aware. Mine's old as shit.
Yeah, you can be
I'd
fine. You can do whatever you want.
Trade her in if it wasn't a problem,
The funniest thing,
Can't start over.
the funniest thing Keem does is fight with
over one of these new
people.
bitches. I don't have the
my
energy.
God.
Oh God!
I would totally boogie myself if that happened.
split the difference.
Yeah.
The funniest thing Keem does is fight with people, but if he's going to fire people after having the fight, then where's the humor? Like, you just have the fight.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about it too is, I was going on my friend's show just because I didn't get to respond, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you guys remember what he made Boogie do when he went on a different show?
He made him
and talked
grovel
shit?
for a,
Yeah, he made him grovel.
apologize, which is
Yeah,
also
crawl
not.
on his knees.
It's a little much.
Fat groveling,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
worse than
It's
that.
a little much.
Put that
So I
down on
think
the
it's-
problems.
I think it's Keem's turn. He went on another show. He did all the firing of me. He did everything to the show.
Keem
I think
should
he's gonna
grovel.
grovel.
He should
Yeah, he's gotta
grovel to
grovel.
get you back.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually.
This is bad for the show. It's bad for the show.
and he's got to donate some money to Israel.
Have they talked about? But they have not talked about you being firing. So have they done an episode yet where they've talked about you being fired? Or do you think they're just not going to not talk about it at all and sweep it under the rug?
Oh, they'll definitely avoid it.
They're going to avoid
about it now.
talking about
Hammer it down their
This is
throats.
the most interesting thing that has
Buddies in the
ever
chat.
happened to this show. Yes, everybody in the chat of the Lolcow podcast nailed it. Say talk about
Justice
Connor.
for Connor.
What happened to
Justice
Connor?
for Connor.
Where is Connor?
Justice for Connor. Justice for
Yeah.
Connor.
This is like when Artie Lang tried to kill himself, and then Howard
Yes.
Stern's like, "Well, we got to talk about it."
Yeah.
They did not talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Okay,
That's
something
fast. Thank
happens.
Mine doesn't do this.
I don't want this. It seems like this show is manufactured.
beat.
I think they just rather talk about how fat Boogie is and how he's a
Yeah,
that's all they're gonna for the 50th time in a row.
If
that's
they
about it.
can't talk about having a huge blow up on the show, Keem being a sensitive baby, firing the editor,
And us making more money.
and being
And us
upset
making more
with
money
Dick
than them.
and me for bringing Connor on to talk about it, then what is this podcast? Fuck it. You
Well,
gotta-
that's
they-
a question
they have
for
to talk
another
about
man
it.
and his show.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a show called What Are These Podcasts?
Well,
and, then
Connor,
and it will only be about the podcast on Who Are These Podcasts.
It'll be a rebuttal.
It'll just be a Russian doll of podcasting. Who are these podcasts?
I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Connor.
Where do we find you now, Connor?
yeah,
now that you're
thanks.
penniless and jobless.
I'm do the
working at
phone sex
McDonald's
thing,
now.
Connor.
You're working
Oh,
at
that
Mickey
pays good
D's.
now.
Yeah, get a job
Yeah,
at
no.
Domino's.
You guys
I
are
can teach
fucking
all the
millionaire.
tips.
Yeah, my Twitter is @realx8.
Well, if anybody needs a editor, Connor's out there.
We need an editor.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
we do too, but I don't know about $2,000.
Yeah,
we're not
well,
paying
you
you
wanna
$2,000,
split it?
I'll tell you that.
Split him.
How many podcasts y'all do a week? One?
Yeah, we do one show
They
a week.
do one.
Well, I was doing two for him. So,
same thing. Same.
I do too. The problem
negotiate
is, anything I make clips of just gets all my accounts deleted. So
Us too.
every single fucking clip.
Yeah,
I've
we
been
don't.
putting
You
some
don't have
clips.
A fat girl walks into a stump and
The
it's
only-
like, deleted.
The only thing you'd have to edit out of ours is the N-word, and I hate to tell you, it's probably going to be twice as busy as the other one. The other podcast you had to edit. So,
Like, oh my God, this was
when
much
we talk about
easier.
sports, there's a lot of them in there. So,
Okay.
well, what, are we not
Connor-
supposed to talk about the sports?
You can talk about the sports. It's just maybe use
Seems
different
inefficient.
language.
Seems like you'd want to. You have a slur for the white people because
No, we do. Yeah,
okay.
but you know, there's,
Yeah,
just,
otherwise
there's so
you
much
just
less to
default.
discuss.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, guys, follow Connor again. You're on Twitter at RealX8. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Your show is lemonparty.org. Is that?
Yep. Head over there.
If they do not talk about this on the Lolcow podcast, if they
Then
fired
Boogie's
the
gonna
editor
die of
and had a
cancer
huge
this
blow
week.
up, well, then there's no show. Then it's a pussy thing. You cannot. Come on. Is
Yeah,
the
it can't
show
be no rebuttal.
Is the show about the Lolcow drama and what's going on behind the scenes, or is it just oh, what'd you eat this week, Bug?
Well, I made a post.
They
last
got
thing
enough
I'll say
time to
before-
do that?
They're doing our show now.
They're doing our show. That's my bit. That's what I do.
Jesus, no wonder he almost died editing the thing. They asked Boog what he ate.
I went to that buffet
Hours.
after the buffet problem.
Of course
I had
you
a good
did.
time.
What buffet?
There's a great Asian buffet. I got to take
No
you.
such thing.
No, this one's all like shrimp and crab legs. You'll eat crab legs.
Yeah, but you got to wrestle Asian guys. To
You
get
do have to
it.
wrestle Asian guys to get to the crab
I'm not
legs.
doing that.
What do you mean?
Are they cold crab legs?
No, they're hot. They're warm steamed crab legs coming out fresh. You just got to fight these Asian motherfuckers to get to them. It's
I'll just
good.
use you as a human shield.
Good. They got a big trough of butter. I was there. You know, one of my buffet
Trough of
tactics.
butter?
Trough of butter. They got these little cups.
Farva.
They got these little cups for the butter. And I go and I grab a soup bowl and I'm ladling the butter
No,
in
you
there.
don't.
And another guy, a bunch of
You're worse
Asian
than
guys,
big black
a bunch
ladies.
of Asian guys who were at the crab legs. They all looked at me and they went, "This man is very, very wise." And they all ran and got soup bowls and started filling
Like
them all
you
with
invented
butter.
the wheel.
I've destroyed
That's
the
some
buffet
old lady.
now.
No,
Yeah, the guy who runs the buffet was like, "Oh no, too much butter, no!" As all these Asian guys are then
This is
getting
a
soup
sequel to
bowls full
Kung
of
Fu
butter.
Hustle.
Oh no, the prophecy is fulfilled.
Buffet master have returned from his mighty slumber.
They predicted your arrival.
And all the cats are like, oh.
All right, last thing I'll say
yes,
real quick,
Connor.
and then I'll
All
head
right,
out.
let us know.
I made a post in this. They definitely have to talk about it. I made a post in the subreddit, the Lolcow Live subreddit. It's the most upvoted post that subreddit's ever seen.
They didn't
so
delete the post,
if they
which is
don't-
good.
They didn't
so
delete
they're
it.
not
Yeah.
hiding that much.
Yeah. So, but that's the last thing I'll say. I'll leave y'all with that. So thank you for having me
Do you
on.
think
Thanks, buddy.
Boogie is a
Oh,
pussy for saying that you have burnt the bridge by appearing here with Dick Masterson?
Yeah, they've joked about having Dick on the show, on the live show a couple of times, and he always
won't
just,
they
I
have
mean, you
Dick
know,
on the
Boogie.
show? Boogie's-
He's a yes man. He'll just say,
I
oh,
would
yeah,
make
of course
him
Dick
kill
can come on the
himself
show.
on air, like Silence of the Lambs, like the Max
Yeah.
guy that jacks off and throws cum on Clarice. I would be like, Hannibal Lecter throwing even more cum.
Boogie needs to bring it. They all need to bring their haters on and be ready to go toe to toe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
If you're going to be a
stomach
cow, you got to accept that the farmhand's
It's like
going
you
to come
can't expect
down.
me to get under there with those
All
toes.
right. Thank you,
right,
Connor. We
All
appreciate
right, bye,
it.
Connor. Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
See y'all.
Sorry about
Inside
the money
scoop.
that you lost.
There you go.
Thanks, buddy.
They've ruined the Lolcow podcast.
Thanks for sitting in on that, Josh.
Hey, it's fun for me.
It is I, the Nigger, and I need you to subscribe to, it says here, Keemstar.